Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a paint tutorial on a morning mountain painting. What we'll see is we're going to have a moon. The sun is rising, but it hasn't fully risen, so we'll have a little bit of a lightness at the bottom. Just enough that you can tell that it's early morning. And then we're going to do the mountains, and then some trees, and then some evergreens, and then some other trees, and then a little bit of a lake going down. This is just like a random thought I thought in my head on what I want to paint today. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do, and I just kind of like freestyle from there. So, with that being said, the paints that we're going to need are ultramarine and I have a Payne's gray. Probably going to use this for the top part because we want it kind of mixed with the ultramarine to give it more of a deeper color. I'm not really sure how it's going to turn out, but we're experimenting. And then a little bit of this up towards the bottom, and then of course with white paint. But we're gonna get started on that first. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna have my mountains, but I know that I'm gonna stop like right around here from the sky because I want to have more land, and I plan on having some from far distance and then coming closer and then seeing some lake. I'm not sure if I want it to have snow on the ground or not, but we're gonna get started with the sky. So, need some paper towel. Put it there. Is all as well. It's been a while for me for painting. I don't know if it seems that way for you guys because I space out the videos pretty closely, so it may not look that way to you guys, but I do take breaks. I had about a week off. Wasn't really feeling good. Had a bit of a cough. I'm okay now. So I'm just gonna start putting my colors in. I have so many different color paints here in general. So I just like to experiment with colors I don't normally use. So that's what we're kind of doing today. I'm gonna actually mix that gray with the ultramarine. I'm just going to mix them together and see if I get that color that I was kind of looking at this morning. It might be a little hard to capture. I didn't even take a picture of it. Now I'm just like trying to remember it in my head. And then of course we're going to add a little bit of white paint towards the bottom, maybe with a little bit of a yellow or an orangey color. The colors you normally see when the sun is rising, but not fully risen, you know. Just mixing those two colors together. It's not looking really that close to what I had this morning, but we'll see how it comes out. But it's very, very dark. It almost looks black, you know. And really, we're not trying to go all the way black, you know. And we really don't need that much because we're only filling like maybe this part of the sky. Because the rest is going to be mountains and scenery. I mean, that's my whole idea behind this. I might have to do 2 shots of this painting video because I'm starting later in the afternoon, and normally I do it right after work, or today it's a little delayed. Just doing other things. So, alright, so I like this color so far, so I'm going to wet my brush, wet it. Now just make sure it's like not too wet. And this is just a regular brush. If you have one that looks like this, like a makeup brush or just a regular painting brush, you can use this. It's perfect. The only problem I have with this one is that the hairs fall out, so I try not to use it as much. I might try something different now. Yeah, I mean, it's something similar to that I have right here. This is actually 3/4 of a 19mm brush. So I will use this to start out with. This one's kind of dry. I mean, the other one was wet. Well, I'm just starting out with my face shield up towards me. Actually, see what I'm doing here. Okay, better. Lay your face towards my painting. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to the brush so it's a bit dry. Okay, now I see that color. That color I was trying to go for. I don't know if you can see it as well, if you did the same mixture as me. But it's very rich. So you don't really want to add too much. You kind of want to have that water to kind of mix it around a little. It's not too heavy. We don't want it too heavy. We're going to probably add a little bit of white paint to it. Because it's no longer night and it's transferring from night to day. But the sun hasn't fully risen yet. I had a hard time trying to figure out what I wanted to paint today. It was just, I wanted to paint something. I haven't done it in a while. This paint is really not my favorite. I got this for Christmas. I don't even know if I can read the brand of this. This is Métis Touch Fine Art Studio. I don't know if I like this brand. I usually just stick to the regular, American type. And what else do I have here? This one's pretty good. And this one's pretty good brand too. This one, not really. I don't like this brand. I don't like how it's very thick. And it dries very quickly. That's why I have to add a little bit of water to it, because I want to mix or blend. It's kind of hard to do that with this paint. So as a beginner painter, I ask you to be mindful and look at things like that, what paints make you feel comfortable? What paints do you like? sometimes I see something beautiful out in nature too, and I can't capture it on a phone, as a picture right away. Like what I saw this morning with the moon in the sky and transitioning to night to morning. It was just, it happened, we were driving and I saw it, and I did have a camera on me, but I just didn't have that, I wasn't fully awake yet, you know, but I was looking up at the sky and I said to myself, this is a really beautiful picture. I wish I had a camera to take a picture of it. Towards the bottom, I'm just kind of like using wet paint and just like kind of letting the canvas, the white as it is, have that settle in. I haven't added any other colors but just this, and I'm wondering if I should just keep it that way because it doesn't look that bad like this. So I'm gonna add the ultramarine blue just a little bit towards the bottom, like this. Kind of like have that blend in the best I can. I have my heater on, so sorry for that. Really like this paint very well. So I'm gonna take this cobalt blue, cobalt. Yeah, mix a little bit that in. Might need to go a little bit thicker with this one. When doing the sky, you can spend quite time just trying to like get it the way you want it, you know? So don't be hard on yourself if it's taking too long to figure it out. Yeah, and then putting this on top of that those two colors we mixed kind of gives it that look that I was seeing this morning where the sky was like a deep blue but not like super dark, you know what I mean? So, one thing I might do with this, with all this paint here, is I might take my pellet knife and just scoop up any excess paint. With this all mixed in, and I'm gonna add a little bit of water just to kind of help it. I know that seems like a waste of time, but I noticed that it has made my blending a lot better with doing this. Alright, so this is going to take a little bit of the scraper. And actually just scrape it, the excess, like too much, and then I'm going to go over it again with a different brush to kind of blend it all in together. I know it's like a mess right now, but it will come together, just trust me. Alright, so this is what it looks like right now. I know it looks a little messy and tacky. Let's go back in. Brush. Very nice. So now I'm going to take some white paint with I'm trying to find my brushes. With something like this to start off with. We don't need any water. There's plenty of water there on the canvas. We're just gonna put like a little bit of this white paint at the very bottom, and then just try to like slowly work it up. Not trying to like heavily blend it or force anything. Bring some more And honestly, I think that might be just good enough for that. Now, we're gonna leave it like that because I think that looks pretty cool. And then we're going to add some stars. So we're gonna do that because it's slowly transitioning, or whichever you want, sunset or sun rising. I think sun rising would look good. We'll put a little bit of yellow at the bottom as well. Probably use a little bit of bright yellow. And probably mix that with the orange. And probably mix it with a white too, because you don't want too heavy. So let me get another palette knife to mix that. Mix a little bit of white paint to that too. Okay, my orange is very creamy. It's actually very orangey, so I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow to it too. Kind of like that color. So really, we're just gonna take a little bit of that. We're not gonna use a lot. I might add a little bit of yellow too. Just by itself to brighten it up a little bit. White paint, blend that in more softly. So you can kind of see, I'm trying to go here, from here. We have the sunrise, and a little bit of the night sky. Just try to blend it in a little bit. To do that, just take a little bit of ultramarine blue and blend it at top with the white. Spaces. Alright, so with these colors are nicely placed, I'm just going to take a dry brush like this, just kind of like go like that. Get that excess paint. And just kind of let that be from there. Might need to go back in with that darker blue just with this brush on top. For the background. Looks good. Alright, now I'm going to add in my stars. So all I need is a toothbrush and some white paint. It already looks like I have some kind of clouds going on down here naturally with the paint. So we don't need to add in any kind of cloud work because we did that naturally with our blending. So you can see that it has that real sky effect to it. So we're just gonna take a regular toothbrush, add a little bit of water to it. Try to dry out that water. Place a little bit of paint onto the brush. And just go into those darker areas more than anything. Not so much at the bottom, but just a darker area to where the stars would be. And that should be good. So I just want to show you what I got going on here for that. My splash guard keeps falling off. I mean, this is homemade. So as you can see, you kind of can see that the sky, and then a little bit of the night sky, the morning sunrise, and a little bit of the night is still present. So we're gonna add a moon, try to figure out where the moon would look best. I'm feeling like the moon would probably look good. I'm trying to like visually think where it would look good. I feel like over here somewhere. And I had an idea of just like using, like maybe drawing out where I want my half moon to be, and then possibly going back in with a Q-tip and just making it look almost like it's fading in certain areas. So to do that, we're probably going to need to start out with a number 1 thin tip brush. Looks like this. Take a little bit of white paint. Now if you're not comfortable with this yet and you're just learning, I would try to draw one out first on a scrap paper or see, moon can be a little tricky to do. That's kind of like the shape I got going on there. I don't know if that's any good, but we had to try to chance it out here. So because our paint is still a little wet from our background, it's going to be a little bit mixed in with the blue, but that's what we're trying to do a little bit here. That's her moon. So I'm gonna show you something. I might even just take the end of this brush, stick it in the paint. Now, before I go ahead and do that, we'll just test it out. Okay, looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna like dab a little bit. You can kind of like see like craters a little bit. Maybe do like a circular motion. You can even use a Q-tip if you can, if it's, maybe take the cotton off and just use the end of that tip. Let me see if we got that. You might use Q-tips for the trees too, but I'm thinking about it. Just like circle some areas. And it's perfectly okay if you get outside those lines because you actually want to. I mean, technically there's a full moon, but it's only showing partially. So you kind of want to have that like fading look. I don't know if you can see what I did over here, but it's, you can mix a little bit more with water and white paint. You take the other end of the brush and just kind of like give it a tap so it kind of has like fading look. Beautiful. So, I'll let that be. What else I can do with that one? Probably go back in later to highlight certain areas of the moon so it stands out. Put that Q-tip to the side. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, we want to do our mountains and our trees. This is the tricky part. We don't want to take away too much from this view. We just want a little bit of mountaintop. So take some paint and some of the cobalt blue. I'm just like kind of drawing like little sways to where these mountains would look like. So these are these mountains, and a little bit later I'm going to have another row of mountains. I really am not adding any more paint than I need to. I'm just like taking a little bit on the brush and then just swaying it, having it blend in with whatever color I have there already. And now I'm going to come in with the ultramarine blue and start working on a top here. Like a shadow to the mountain already. So we'll just let that be with that. really doesn't have to be perfect. They're mountains, so some of them are like, from a distance, very clumpy. Be. And we're going to come in with this darker blue that we had for up top to be a little bit in the background as well, because probably has some mountains in the back, perhaps. I'm just kind of like going for where there might be some of that mountain in the distance. I'm adding a little bit of yellow to it too, so it's not like totally dark. Be, and then wondering what should I have a little bit closer, maybe. Let's see. Mixing a little bit of white paint to that cobalt blue. Just mix a little bit more of the ultramarine blue to that. painting. I'm gonna be adding trees in soon. This is the lay of the land so far. kind of doing something slightly different than what I was saying I was going to do. Kind of looks like grass, like night grass. I keep it like that. I was thinking maybe putting a tree over here instead of doing all those evergreens, just having one tree in this direction and maybe a little lake over here. So now the picture's slowly coming together. You can see where we're getting at. So I'm just adding a little bit more of that mixture that I had before, that Payne's gray with ultramarine blue, mixing those two together. Very deep, dark colors, but I really like it. So I'm just adding more. I'll probably put like a little river in this end. I don't know how much of the shadow work I can do for the sky because we already went in on the land, but we'll do our best. I don't really need this splash guard at the moment, so we'll put this aside. It's going down towards the water, it's a little darker. Different strains of that bluegrass. Alright, so for our water, we're going to try to capture a little bit of the sky by adding that color at top, but not so much. More like in this area, very tip. In the painting. I'm just going back in with those brushes from before. Possibly trying to get most of this part of the sky. fingers all of a sudden. And then towards the end of the water, we'll add a little bit of those colors that we had at the bottom. Yellow. And an orangey color. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but we're trying to get it. And then of course the white. We're just trying to blend those together as best we can. Don't worry if the water gets too dirty looking. I mean, it is sunrise, so there's not much light reflection to this water. Very early morning. Kind of the same thing like we did before with the scraper. We're going to do, I gotta grab another scraper. I have quite a few here. I'll just use this one. Crazy excess amount of water. I'm just coming in with a dry brush, whichever you prefer, doesn't matter. And then just blending those colors. So we're just gonna let that dry a little bit before we do anything extra to the water. Now for our tree, I was thinking I don't know if I want a tree like this that I have here in this painting, or if I'm gonna go for one of those white trees with the barks. I think I might go for that. I think I might do that. So in order to do that, because we're not going to focus too much on the grass, because once we get those trees up, then we can kind of go back in and just do whatever we need to make it look more fluidy. So what we're going to do is we're going to need white paint and a thin tip brush. I'm trying to remember, I did actually do this once, painting a while back. I don't know if I made a video for it, but the trees are kind of like, make a couple of them. So we're just kind of like having fun with these trees over here. We're gonna add those like little black lines to them, and I'm trying to remember how I did that last time. See, I have a thin tip brush over here. Could use. doing different sways with the branches. I'll make another one over in this area. I don't know if you can see. There's a tree. So I have that. So I'm gonna start adding that, like, I'm gonna mix a little bit of that mixture of that darker Payans gray with that ultramarine. Just mix those two together, and I'm just gonna start making those little dashes into the tree. it's kind of hard for you to see what I'm doing. Just little like dashes. I'll show you in a minute. Kind of look like, got it, you can see. For these trees, I'm going to add blue leaves to them. For this, I'm going to use that cobalt blue. And I'm going to use, I'm going to use a fan brush for this. I have smaller ones and bigger ones. I'm just gonna take the bigger one, see what it looks like on my painting and see if that's what I want. Yeah, it's pretty close. I'm just gonna fill in the tree a little bit with this color first. And then of course I'll go over a little bit later in some areas. And I'm just basically taking the brush and just dabbing it in some areas. So you can kind of see those leaves. See that beautiful flowy look to the tree. The same thing with the second side as well. We'll do that first before we start lightening up a little bit. So we got that color. So I'll put this brush to the side. We're actually going to use a smaller brush, and we're going to actually use some of that ultramarine blue. So we're going to be a little bit of a lighter. We're going to go in with a darker, and then go in with like a whiter, a mixture of the white and the cobalt blue. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry. I'm just taking a little bit of that paint. Not a whole lot. I'm not even using a whole lot. Just enough to show where there could be possible shades to the color. We're not using a whole lot of paint here. just going a little bit more in the middle part of the tree with the darker blue. Looking good here. To dry, I'm gonna take some of that ultra really blue, and I'm just gonna like start working on different parts of the grass with this color. You can't really see it, but it's kind of adding some highlights to the grass in some parts. The sun hasn't yet arose, so there's not going to be too much lighting here. We want to see those blades a little bit better. That's why I add a little bit of this ultramarine to some parts. I didn't realize I was going to use blue for most of this painting. I'm kind of happy though because I really like blue, so I'm happy that I'm using it mostly. And it does kind of give it that winter cool look too, in a way. But not too, like you can probably use this as a, you know, on your wall for, you know, even the summer months, because it has that nice cool look, but doesn't really suggest what season it is, you know. It does look a little cooler, so you would probably use this for winter, but you could use it basically for any season. So I was trying to go for. And like the blades of grass, there really is no real right way to where they're supposed to be. I'm just like making different motions. And then of course, when we get closer to the bottom, we'll go back in with that darker gray color to make, you know, taller grass in the front. So that's our trees, that's the water so far, and I wanted the trees to dry a little bit before I get into them, but while I'm waiting for them, I'm just gonna go back into the mountaintop and just try to make some of those areas a little bit more darker and some. Those look pretty nice. Alright, I'm gonna go into the water. Now, we want to add stars to our water, so we probably should do that first before we start adding more detail to the water. So I'm going to take a little bit of that paint, I'm going to go back in at the bottom, flip it over. And we're just putting the white paint in those darker areas. get on the land, but it's okay. Yeah, I got a little bit on the land. So to fix that, let's go back in with our ultramarine blue and our fan brush. Just try to get those areas. If of course you made the same mistakes as me. Come in with my fan brush, just wash it out really good. For our tree, we're going to use a white paint and a mixture of that Chabot blue. I have trouble saying it. I'm adding a lot of white paint to it because I want to be a lot lighter than I'm just going into some areas, not a lot. Trees so far. Really, I might have to go back in it with some darker shades because it made it a little bit too bright. Remember, the sun hasn't fully risen, so that's okay. I mean, this could be at the very ends of the tree. So back to our water. We're gonna wash out that fan brush really good. And then we'll come back in with the white paint with water. So my water's a little bit dirty. I have to clean it out. But it's got like a little bit of mixture of that blue that we used, so it's okay. I'm just going in gently with this brush, just making some streaks. Nothing too heavy here. Water. Blend it a little bit better. So a little bit of white paint. We want to mix a little bit of the darker paint too for the shadows over here. Overdid it over here. So let that be the water. I'm going to take the bigger fan brush and I'm going to take some of that darker take some of that cyan gray, and I'm just going to use that by itself for this over here. bit of the paint left on the brush, just going like that. Just coming back in with that water and with paint. Take a thin tip brush so you can kind of tell where the land and water is, and I'm just gonna do a little outline. Like that. And I'm just gonna make a couple of like these strands. Of grass just popping out different directions. So like I was saying with the tree, I'm gonna come back in with some of the ultramarine blue. I'm just kind of not totally darkening it out, but enough to see that the light is shining from the back, but not the front, because it is not day yet. This looks better. For the top part of this knot that I have here, I'm just gonna draw, I'll paint these little blue leaves of grass. some more on this side as well. See, there's like another hill or mountain at this distance over here. Kind of looks good this way. I'm just going to add a little bit of this ultramarine blue to some parts here, to the grass. Nice like that. You don't really have to do much with this painting. It's got its own little flow to it. I want to take a look back at the moon because looking at the moon it's a little wonky, so I'm gonna go back in with the vintage brush and my paint so I can fix it up. Instead of making a half moon, I'm gonna kind of go back and make it like more of like a full moon, but you can see like that slowly fade in a little bit. It's not like 100% full moon. You kind of can see the fading out part. It's pretty good. So let me see if I can just put regular little spots of like perhaps where the sun is glowing on the tree. I mean the moon. My bad, I'm sorry. The moon's glowing on the tree. There's not too many spots. little bit up here, one. This top tree. There's the nose areas. And then take a little bit of the white paint. Go a little bit on the melted top. Some snow on it. going to actually make the sun actually coming up too. I said I wasn't gonna do that, but I feel like that'd be a nice touch. there's one last thing I want to do to this painting, and I'm going to add on a white swan. It's up to you if you want to keep it the way it is. So I just kind of drew out what it would look like, and then we're just gonna fill it in from there. So I'm using a thin tip brush. I'm just filling in the swan. Parts of the wings would probably be, well, parts of the feathers could be sticking up, so then you can add some of that detail to part of its wing. I'm going to use a different brush. This is a number 6 flat rounded tip brush. And I'm just trying to fill in this one. Sways. I'm going to take some of that orange from before and make the beak. With also using the same brush with that tip. Works pretty well if you basically push down on it and then swoop up. Gives it that good beak look. Then we're gonna go in with a thin tip brush. And we're going to use some of that gray, the darker gray we were talking about earlier, and just like making the eye. And then there's a little bit of a black thing around where the beak is. And there you have it. Our morning moonlight winter blues painting. I really don't know what to name this one. Still thinking about it. But if you like this painting and you want more like this, please hit like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for hanging around and painting with me. This painting with me, I know it wasn't at all of what I was saying earlier, but this is what came out of that process, and I think it came out pretty good. So thank you again, and see you next time. Peace.